Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm DJ Mista Soull, and it's the Mista Soull Show. And we got a very special, unique edition of the Mista Soull Show because I have an artist that I think, in my own personal opinion, that has done something that's pretty incredible. Now, you hear about artists getting on the song and they drop, 132 bars or 200 bars straight. Yeah, that's cute. That's kind of sexy. But check this out. This guy dropped a song every week for a full year, with a video to each song. So let me back up off of this intro and get right into it. With no further ado, introducing to you, Buck Bowen. Is Buck Bowen your real name?
Yes, all 2/3 of it.
So how did you find hip hop?
I probably found hip hop through skateboarding, specifically old 411 skate videos. They would feature different skateboarders, and a lot of the times it was some underground stuff. That's how I found out about Gangstar, Dr. Octagon, KRS-One, a lot of that stuff. Now, the first time I remember hearing something that stuck out to me as hip-hop would have been the summer between 6th and 7th grade. My buddy put in the CD. It was all white and had this sort of dark maroon blood splat on it. And when track 4 came on and that beat dropped, I don't know what it was, just something. I just remember thinking, this is hip hop. And that track was tripping off the Gravediggers album, 6 Feet Deep.
What do you bring to hip hop that other artists don't?
Oof. If you asked me this 10, 15 years ago, I would have said comedy, humor, a willingness to joke around. Nowadays, I would say what sets me apart is variability, to use a long, pretentious, syllabistic word. Variation, I guess, would be the term I'm looking for. So a lot of rappers, they have their lane, their style, and that's what they do. Not a criticism, they do it well. It's just for me, especially in this oneAweek project, I've had to kind of take on these different styles. In one instance, you're getting all rah-rahed up and motivated and inspired. The next, track of mine you listen to, you're kind of depressed and you might want to cut yourself. Or you might just be curious and intrigued if you're listening to something like Avant-Garde or Space Gangster. So I guess what I bring that other artists don't would be variation and multiple styles that you could choose from.
Is it a rumor? Is it real? You did a song with the video every week for a year.
Now, normally I don't like to kiss and tell, but I'll make an exception. It's real.
Why?
Honestly, it started with a challenge from Gary Vaynerchuk. I was watching a video, he was talking to some artists discussing, like some kid doing a song every day for a whole year or every other day as a means of, getting success. And I really like that idea because here's the thing, for the longest time, I would tell people, music is my main passion, but it was the thing that I did the least. And that internal contradiction would just eat away at me. And so when I heard Gary Vee talk about this, I thought, I can't do every day and probably not every other day, but I can sure as heck start with at least once a week. And so for me, it's just been a process of rising to the challenge, of growing, of learning, and just really going for it.
What was the process to come up with each song?
So my process has changed over the year. In the beginning, I had a backlog of content of like quotes, motivational sayings from people like Les Brown, Jim Rohn, Grant Cardone, Brian Tracy, Gary Vaynerchuk, Tony Robbins. And I just really wanted to put their stuff into song form. So, the first few songs, that's what I did. Of course, when that was over, it was kind of like, well, now what? And so over time, my process now is really just looking inside, hey, what am I passionate about? What's bothering me? What's got me riled up? What's got me angry? Is there anything in particular I want to talk about? And that's how the idea starts. And then usually on Fridays is when I sit down and I just try to knock it out. Funny enough, for a while, I was going to this Chinese buffet, and I'd get this big plate of food, and I would sit down with my notebook and I'd go, okay, man, you can't have a bite until you get me 2 lines. And, so it was kind of this grueling process of having this, delectable plate of food and this empty plate of lyrics. And so that's been the process of just coming up with an idea, sitting down on Friday and just trying to knock it out.
Did you produce the music for every song also?
I did. And that's been a feat in itself. I think of this story where Wayne Dyer talks about not dying with your music still in you. Of course, that's a metaphor for your hopes, your dreams, your goals, your aspirations. And because of the time constraint and not always being able to come up with a fresh beat, I've had to go back and dig through all these old tracks that I made that I never used, and I probably never would have used, and brushing them off, putting a little bow on top. So for me, it's really great in that I'm literally on a course to not die with my music still in me, because I'm having to go back and find stuff that I did in the past. So really stoked on that.
What was the hardest part about accomplishing such an astounding commitment?
The hardest part has been the writing process. So typically for me, here's how it works. I come up with an idea or topic. I think about it for a couple weeks. I think about it for a couple more weeks. I start writing, agonizing, grueling. I dig this big hole and I look up and I complain how I can't see the sun. And then eventually, a couple months later, I rise from the dirt and I produce this amazing track. Well, when you only have 7 days, you can't really do that. So, I'm with Grant Cardone here where he says, look, it's quality through quantity. So, sure, I'm not rhyming 4,372 syllables with the inner rhyme in between. But, I'm getting out songs and ideas and content that I otherwise never would have. And I'm talking about things that I don't think I would have been strong enough to discuss, because there's a lot of vulnerability here. And so, I've over this year, I've learned, hey man, do the best you can with what you got when you got it and put it out there for the world. Because, another thing I've learned too is some of the stuff I put out, I'm not happy about, but then I'll get an email from somebody and they tell me it's the best thing that they've ever heard. Now, of course, I judge that person's taste. No, I'm kidding. But, so like I said, so I've learned, hey, it's not always up to you. And you may not be stoked on this, but somebody else might, and that's cool. So,
did you shoot all the videos yourself?
I did not. So if you've seen any of the videos, you'll know that some, are a clip from a movie or some weird B-roll that I pulled off the internet. Some are actual music videos. In the beginning, that's how I wanted it to be. I'd harass my girlfriend. I'd call up my buddy, the homie down the street. And it was grueling because, I'm writing all of this in such a short amount of time that I couldn't memorize all my lines sufficiently. And so I just felt so terrible. I'd just be blundering and stumbling. And, it was a nightmare. And of course, my girl would ignore me and, people wouldn't return my calls. So I had to find new ways of getting these videos out. Now, if you look at Keep Moving, Get Started, I think Now Year's Resolution 2, the one where I'm in the gym, those I did film myself. And any sort of camera motion that you see, that was done in post after the fact. So I did edit all of them, but no, I did not shoot them all.
What date did you start and when does Song 52 drop for your fans?
So the first song I put out was April 17th of last year. And Song 52 is going to drop April 9th of this year. And I can tell you right now, you're not ready for it. I know you've been waiting. You're not ready for it. Not only is it going to blow your gourd hole in half, it's probably going to make you pee in your butthole. I'm serious. I like to be hyperbolic, but I'm serious about this one. On April 9th, track 52 is going to drop. The earth is going to shatter. California is going to separate from the U.S. Hams are going to hide. Babies are going to cry. Heads are going to roll. Jesus. That was too much? Oh, okay. April 9th is when song 52 comes out. It'll be on my website, buckbowen.com, Facebook and YouTube /buckbowen, which is also where you can get the other music. Thanks for watching.